All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Kel.
I'm Sarah.
And the purpose of this podcast is to talk about marriage, to talk about faith, love, intimacy, and everything in between. I hope you're having a great day.
A blessed day. We declare that you have an amazing day.
Yes, it's a good day and a new day that God has made. So,
Amen.
Keep your head up and stay strong. So, yeah, guys, how you doing, my love?
I'm good. How are you, baby?
Good. I'm good. So if you haven't seen our last episode, check it out. I really that was a good episode last week. Last episode.
Last episode that we recorded, or last episode that we recorded.
Yeah, because we do them like in batches, and then we record ahead of time.
So I'm like, last episode. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah. No, the last one that we talk about the 9 lessons in our 9 years of marriage.
That was good.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah.
So check that out. But yeah, my love, how you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel refreshed. Today's my day off, it's Monday, but we're off to run a little errand. So
on my lunch hour.
On my wife's lunch hour, but I said, let's jump on, let's do a video, and let's inspire, provide some good content, and my love. So what's up?
So we definitely once again want to encourage you. Our channel is definitely to encourage, inspire,
right,
and give some people the reality of what marriage is, right? Because I know, at least for us, we didn't have that reality of what marriage was prior to coming in. You only hear about the beautiful moments, the wedding, the 6-hour wedding that you get to celebrate,
right?
But you don't really know or hear of other couples and their struggles to where they got to. So I'm definitely so excited about this podcast that we've been doing and this journey that we've taken together. It's exciting. So we're going to be discussing 6 mistakes that couples make in their marriage. And so if you're in a relationship or planning to getting married or in that process, definitely tune in. This is going to be good.
Yes.
Number one mistake, lack of communication. Communication is one of the most important aspects of any relationship. And that's any relationship.
Right.
It can be your work relationships. It can be your friendships. It can be your marriages. It can be your boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. It can be that relationship that you have with everyone. Communication is key. And I know it's so redundant that we keep on saying it in all our podcasts is like communication. It's because it is seriously most important.
Key
In a relationship. I mean, most important is definitely God first.
Right.
So let me clarify that. But communication comes right after. Communication is big and an important aspect of it. And
it's funny because I've noticed that's one of the mistakes we've made too. When we feel a type of way with eeach other, sometimes I don't want to talk, and I don't want to communicate to you how I feel. I'll brush it over. Thinking it's gonna go away. Like if I feel angry towards you about something you spent on money or something you said to me, I won't communicate to you how I feel. I'll just brush it over. But in reality, not communicating that to you, you can easily do it again.
Absolutely,
right?
And hurt you again.
And hurt me again.
Out of lack of communication could come hurt. You know what I mean? Like, if there is no and the person receiving that communication, you also have to be receptive when communicating. Part of communicating is being receptive to what your partner is communicating to you. And it may not feel good to hear what your partner is communicating to you.
Right.
But being okay and being receptive to that feedback that your partner is giving to you, it's important because it may be something that you're communicating. I know that you had mentioned something to me recently of something that I did during one of our recordings.
Right.
And you were like, that kind of made me feel, and then I was like, okay, I acknowledged it, and I'm like,
right.
Okay, all right. And I took it in, and even though I didn't feel that it was bad of what I was doing,
right.
It's important to me because it made my partner feel uncomfortable. And so, or not uncomfortable, it just didn't sit well with him. And so after that, you then came back and was like, honestly, it wasn't even that serious.
Right. No. Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, I saw the video again, and I'm like, man, I was like blowing it out of proportion in my head. But before that, I felt like, man, I should communicate that to you, just because it's how I felt. Even though it wasn't even something bad, even if it wasn't mad or crazy, but to you, like you're my partner, you're my wife, and I need to communicate how I feel towards you.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right,
because I don't
right,
want to feel hurt again, even though it really wasn't anything.
right.
But I don't want, if I held that in, I can probably stir up bitterness towards you,
Absolutely.
and it would happen again, and I feel hurt again.
Right, 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 right.
So
So
you,
communication, guys,
yeah,
essential, essential. Talk openly, honestly about your feelings, your needs, your concerns with your partner. That is so important to do. That communication is, and you're gonna continue to hear that in podcasts.
yeah,
Communication,
yeah.
because
Talk to your partner.
it is realistic, but it's also the way you do it. It's not what you say,
Oh,
is how you say it.
your delivery.
Your delivery means everything. And I've learned that. I've learned that within my marriage, and I still work on that.
Right,
We're not perfect, guys.
right, right.
We still, this podcast is part of our healing and our growth as a marriage as well. So not only is it helping you guys, but it's also for us. Like, mainly, I mean, we started this for us.
Right, right.
So, don't feel like any marriage knows best. It doesn't matter if it's your pastors, if it's, everybody has their own process in their marriage, and how they have processed and healthy marriages, right?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, anyone that you meet that has a healthy marriage will tell you communication is key, and has been a mistake in their marriage when they don't communicate.
Facts. You gotta communicate.
Number 2 mistake.
Number 2.
Wow, this one is deep. Taking each other for granted.
Mm.
When you're married for a while, it is easy to fall into routine and take your partner for granted. However, neglecting and appreciate and show gratitude to your spouse can create a distance in your marriage and in your relationship. Make sure to express your appreciation and love for your partner often.
Yeah.
That's important.
Ooh.
That's important. I mean, we hit 9 years in our marriage,
Right.
and that can easily be, this can easily become a routine.
A routine.
We're together for costumbre, like we're accustomed to each other.
Right.
So it's just routine to be with each other. And not for nothing, I was in a relationship like that once.
Right.
I was in a relationship for many years, many years ago, many moons ago, when I was in a long time relationship, and I realized that I was in that relationship because I was accustomed to that person.
Right.
So I wasn't fearful to lose that person, not because I was in love and that was the love. You know what I mean? I was fearful because I was accustomed to having that person around and having that person near. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even healthy.
Right.
It was just the costumbre, the custom of having someone. So building that and acknowledging, not taking that person for granted. Like, my husband, and I know you guys are so tired of hearing me say this.
Not me.
But my husband is amazing. Like, he is truly amazing. And I find those moments to tell him how amazing he is. I know words of affirmation mean a lot to him. And I make sure that I constantly just look over and be like, I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you for being that man at the head of the house. Thank you for taking that on. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for the long hours you work to make this family work, So, once again, baby, I appreciate you.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you, babe.
Thank you for all you do for our household, our family,
you.
and our marriage.
Appreciate you too, babe. No, yeah, you can't take your partner for granted, and I know, yeah, I've felt that too in our marriage. To just the busyness of life and me picking up more overtime and more hours, and
it became a habit.
It became a habit of like neglecting my partner, and not realizing that you think everything's good. You think the partner's not going to leave you, or you think your partner is on the same page as you, but you don't know how your partner feels. And me neglecting you, and we're not going out, because there was a period of that,
Oh, we had a long time. We didn't date.
Yeah, we
weren't dating.
Yeah, it was
dry. We were like roommates.
Yeah.
We were like roommates, and it's so funny that you say that, like, neglecting. I remember telling you many times, like, I'm not happy. This is not okay. I'm not enjoying this. Like, I wasn't enjoying our marriage. I wasn't enjoying us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I remember many times you'd be like, well, I'm not here to make you happy. Like, that's not my responsibility to make you make. And it's right. It's not your responsibility to make me happy.
Right.
That is my own responsibility. Because how can I put that on you, right?
Right.
But I didn't feel our marriage growing. I didn't feel connected to my husband. I didn't feel that connection.
Right.
And for many years. And it was in a lot of turbulence happened during that time, right?
Right.
And so it's bad. Like I get, and we get it, right? Like I think our pastor yesterday preached a little bit about this. Like, what are you doing all of this work for? What are you working for all of this for? And eventually, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna leave this world, and what are you gonna be able to respond to? Like, what purpose have you done? God's purpose at the time to put back in. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much work we can do.
Right.
And I get it that we have bills, we have debt, we have a mortgage, we have car. You know what I mean? Like, we have other responsibility as to why we want to work all these hours.
Right.
But to what cost?
To what cost? If you lose your partner, you can even lose your connection to God.
Exactly.
So don't take your partner for granted, and surrender that to God. Maybe you don't even see it. Maybe you're blind to it.
Right.
Because of the routine, and it's crazy. You're never gonna feel like, okay, I'll take the initiative and we'll start dating when it feels right. Because guess what? It's not
about that.
Yeah, you got to break the cycle.
Right.
Like, there's a cycle and it just gets worse, and you don't even you're blind to the routine.
Right.
You're blind. You're in this routine of your work, your kids, and it blinds you. And the only way to break free from that is by taking action. Like, okay, what actions do I got to take to not take my partner for granted, and be grateful and do gestures and actions even if I don't feel like it. But it takes action to to make that change, to see it change.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you want to see more love in your life, you got to give more love.
Yes.
You want to see more romance in your life, you got to be more romantic. You want to see God more in your life, you got to seek him more.
Amen.
And
Amen.
You can't just be like, oh, when I feel like it,
I'll
just
on Sundays.
Or on Sundays. You got to take. It's like motivation. You're waiting for motivation, but first take the action. Then the inspiration and motivation will come. So no, surrender that to God. Don't take your partner for granted. It's the relationship that God has given you. Straight up, God has given you that relationship. Take responsibility and honor God with your actions, because everything you do it as if you're doing it for the Lord. Right? Colossians 3:23, right? Do it everything as if you're doing it for the Lord. Don't take your partner for granted, and don't neglect them. And you're doing it. You get blessed by that too. So, yeah. That was number 2.
That was number 2. Number 3. This is big. Financial problems.
Oof.
Study has shown finances, it is the leading cause of divorce. You would think infidelity, right? But no,
yeah, it's one of them. Yeah.
Finances is the leading causes of divorce. And so with your finance, money issues can be put a long strain on your marriage. Absolutely.
Right.
Whether it's overspending, debt, or disagreements in how you're going to spend your money, or managing your finances, not addressing the problems that are occurring with your finances, which is big. Or even I feel like even problems, like if you have gambling problems, if you have a spending problem. Like, I was very clear when we got married, before we got married, our pre-marital, I was very clear and I understood that I have a spending problem. I like to spend money. I like to go shopping. I like the beautiful things in life. Like, I do. I have a very particular taste. You know what I mean? Like, my husband used to always be like, it's all about the name brand for you. And I'm like, no, it's the quality. It's the this. And I'm a spender. I like nice things. I like to look good. Is it not true?
It's true.
I do like to I like to look good.
I like the finer things.
I do like the finer things. But I understood that because of that spending habit that I have, I should not be responsible for our finances, because I knew that I have a spending problem. And if I see numbers, I'm just going to be like, well, we bringing in this amount of money, we could afford X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So being smart and wise about your decision of spending, and not only that, being realistic. Like, if you are having issues, be transparent with your partner, so your partner can also be aware of what those things are. If you have a gambling problem, if you owe money, that's something that God speaks about in the Word. It's about owing money, and I believe it's in I forget what verse it is. I think it's in, if I'm not mistaken, in Proverbs 22:7, where it says, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender."
Right.
Like even God speaks about your money. Like how are you spending your money and your finances? Like you don't want to be the type that owes money to credit cards forever. Like you're working to spend to pay interest rates and to pay money that is owed. Like no.
Yeah.
I remember when we first got married, we didn't believe in credit cards for the first couple of years of our marriage.
Right. We were heavy on that.
We were heavy. We even took a finance class before we got married.
The Dave Ramsey thing.
The Dave Ramsey course. Yep. We took that finance class not once, but twice.
Oh yeah, because you get an unlimited times to go back.
And we went to one of his presentations.
Yeah.
And we were heavy on that. We were like, no, we're not doing debt. We paid cash for our wedding. And we were not gonna go into debt because we knew finance was the leading cause of divorce.
Right.
And so being wise, guys, being wise. I mean, my husband, he takes care of our finances. We have one bank account that our salaries go into,
right,
and that disperses upon what we have to pay for our mortgage, our cars, our debt, student loan, everything's included in there. And then we give ourselves some pocket money and spending money, and if the kids need something, we put that into our budgeting. But my husband takes care of the budgeting.
Yeah, so with finances, I say you got to be transparent with your partner. God calls us to be stewards of the money that we have. So you have to be transparent with your partner. That's why we have one bank account. Because some couples, they don't have, they have their own bank accounts, and then they don't want to join money. Oh, your money's your money, my money's my money. But I encourage you as a married couple, it teaches you to be accountable to each other. So you can see each other's spending habits, right? So don't let the finances burn you down. Like work together, set budgets, sit down together to manage the money that God has gave you to be responsible for.
And it's important, the budgeting. My husband's saying, because of my past history, numbers wasn't my thing. Budgeting gives me anxiety. And trust me, it was bad, right, babe? I'm much better now, but before, we used to argue off of going through the budget because I didn't want to do it, and I would find any argument to not do it, and so I would argue with him just not to do it. But it's so important to go over that budgeting, even if you're not the one leading the budgeting, because anything could happen to my husband, and I honestly am lost with the budget. Like I will have to. I've told him, write it down for me. Like if anything is saved anywhere, like wherever things, put it in our safe. Like let me know where these things are, because honestly, that is something that I am working on. I still struggle with numbers and seeing that, because it gives me heart palpitations. Man. Like it's hard, hence why I did not go into anything that has to do with math. I am in social work. Right. But it's so important, and God speaks to us a lot. I know 1 Timothy 6:10, it says, "For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evils."
Right.
It is through this cavity that some have wandered away from faith and priced themselves with many bags. And it's like, God is the king of money.
Right. Then
why are we moving away from him,
Right.
Be wise.
Yeah. Finances, don't let that be a burden to your union. Be open about it, transparent, know what you want to spend, and give each other roles. Maybe one takes care of the finances, but the other one you still have to communicate to your partner about it. Don't keep no financial secrets, like any gambling addictions, like my wife was saying earlier. And
we can share
any hidden debt.
It's happened to us.
Yeah,
it's happened to us where my husband has invested in something and we lost a lot of money.
Right.
And I know that was difficult for him to come to me and have to tell me.
Yeah.
But it was like, all right, that happened, and it was tough. It was a tough pill because it wasn't like a few bucks. It was big money, and
a few thousand.
Yeah, and it was just like, all right, we lost that, but how are we going to move forward?
Right.
And it was also me of being like, all right, he's wise in what we're doing, and this is a risk that we took, and all right, how are we going to get out of this? How are we going to move forward?
Yeah.
And it was never like, what did he do? He did this. It had to be like this is our thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So putting faith, if you guys are particularly, sticking with one person that is taking care of your finances, trust in that decision.
Yeah.
Trust that they're going to make the best decision.
Oh, and back to accounts. Make sure that if you do have joint accounts, make sure your names are on both of them. Right? You want the other person to also feel they're part of this union. So you put their names on the account.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, don't just be like, what? That's not. Oh, that's my account. It's your account. And your name is not on it. Like, even with that small gesture, it's like you need to give them access even to the logins so they can see the money that's being spent. That's why you both have to be on the same page with that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Avoid.
Lack of intimacy.
Oh, that's a problem.
Wow, that's a problem. That's happened to us.
Yes.
That has happened to us, guys. And I'm more of the one that was like, nope, I don't want nothing. And it was, and guys, it had nothing to do with that. I'm not attracted to my husband. I mean, you guys see him; he looked good. All right, my husband is a whole package. It wasn't that. It was that so many other things were happening in our marriage, and I wasn't okay.
Right.
That wasn't on my top of my list.
Right.
I didn't want that. Like, that wasn't something that I was like, oh my God. And I always hear like other women like, I have to have sex. Marriage is not all about sex.
Nah, not at all.
Marriage is not all about sex, guys. If you think that it's all about sex, you're getting married for the wrong reasons, okay?
Facts.
Marriage, yes, it is an important aspect of your marriage.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's another way of connecting with your partner.
Absolutely. I mean, my husband says it all the time. He's like, when we are intimate, he feels more closer to me.
Yeah, when we're intimate, I feel more connected to you.
Yeah, and absolutely, it's definitely a important aspect of a marriage, but it's not the most important thing.
Not at all.
But lack of it can affect your marriage.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that moment of our marriage, I mean, and my husband has had his times that he doesn't want to be intimate either, but for me particularly, I know it was big on, I didn't want to have sex. I didn't want to. I just, I didn't feel good about myself physically.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had 4 children and my body has changed tremendously during those 4 pregnancies. I gained a lot of weight. There were things hanging where things weren't hanging before. Things weren't in place where they were before. You know what I mean? Like, a lot. My body went through a traumatic experiences birthing my children, all natural births. That it took a toll on my mental.
Right.
It took a toll on how I felt about me as a person, as an individual. I had a very low self-esteem, and many times of those moments that I didn't want to have intimacy because I didn't feel sexy, guys. I didn't feel sexy about me. And it wasn't until I took control of me and feeling good about me and who I was in my own skin and being okay. Like, my husband loved my chichos. My husband loved it. You know what I mean? My saggy breasts. Like, he loved those things. Like, I had to love it. You know what I mean? Like, even though he loved it, I didn't love it. And so it wasn't until I took ownership of that it started getting better. You know what I mean? It definitely got better. But intimacy is important. Right. It's definitely important because that can definitely push partners away from each other.
Right.
But also, it can start other things like infidelity. If you're not giving your partner what he needs, then you're opening another door.
Yeah.
You're opening another door. And as a woman of God, that's not something that you can't be like, that can never happen.
No, the lack of intimacy can lead for your partner to entertain other people.
Christian or not. Infidelity happens.
Yeah.
It happens, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, as a Christian, it's not going to happen. We are in the flesh, and it would happen. It could happen if you would open up that door. Thankfully for us, it's not something that happened for us, but I definitely had those moments where I didn't want to be intimate.
Right. And for men, sometimes, and I'm in the same page. Sometimes I wasn't in the mood neither because it was like a cycle. Like, oh, you don't feel in the mood, then fine. I'm not in the mood neither, and I don't want to know about you. And then, you don't build that connection with your partner, and that's part of what error and a challenge in your relationship, not building those intimate moments. Make sure, as the husband, to reassure your wife, if she feels, down about herself, continue showing her love. Um, continue giving her love, continue showing her love, because there's other methods of being intimate with your partner. So you know.
No, it's important. I mean, I think for I mean, now we can't just get our hands off for each other, guys. But it wasn't always like that, babe. It wasn't always
Right.
like that. It was really hard. Like those were sad moments. I remember. I mean, guys, we're very transparent. I mean, at
Mm-hmm.
this time, at this episode, you should know we're very transparent. Because we want to help other couples that are going through what we've gone through, right? And this is why we're sharing this. But there was many weeks that we wouldn't be intimate,
Mm-hmm.
months that we wouldn't be intimate. And that was taking a toll on us. That was definitely taking a toll on us. And I think that now we're definitely more intentional, um, and spicing it up. And like I definitely say little things to my husband,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you gotta keep it like that. And it's like we are a team, and not only that, es el hombre de mi vida. Like he's the man of my dreams, the man of my life, the man I want to be with.
Mm.
And so growth, you know what I mean? That's intimacy growth for sure.
And on that same subject, sometimes for I would say for for men to like I said, encourage your wife, but for women also not to guilt your husband when you're not getting intimacy, because sometimes there could be the blame game,
Yes.
right? Like, oh,
Yes.
we're not intimate because of you, because you don't want to touch me or anything like that. And it's like, but we're in this cycle, and it's like, well, if you're constantly with an attitude, and
Yeah, things play into it.
you're constantly disrespecting me, and then what do you expect? You expect to just like jump in the sack, like,
And that was us. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
us.
yeah. That was
That was
us a
for
lot.
sure us. I mean, I know my nagging and my arguing with him, and that that didn't make him interested in feeling. And then of course, guys, that starts building onto other things, right? Then you start being
Mm-hmm.
like, then maybe he's not into me no more. I'm not good enough for him. I'm this. He doesn't want to touch me. He doesn't look at me. He doesn't that. The
Mm-hmm.
enemy. You
Yeah.
opened up that door.
Don't let the enemy
The
come
enemy
in.
is waiting. Like he's on standby, guys. Like he is waiting to jump in and be like poison your mind with all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the enemy is there to destroy. He wants to
And
separate. He does not
divide.
want to see that union between you and your husband. So you're opening that door. Now you're entertaining that, and now you're allowing this enemy to come in and start feeding you
Right.
all these thoughts, and you're believing it because you're seeing certain things happening
Mm-hmm.
in your marriage. So it's so important, so important. To It goes back, communication.
Communication. Yeah, yeah. And this goes out for the married couples, and for the not married couples, this is why you don't have sex before marriage, because
Mm.
you have to work on building your communication with each other. Because obviously, marriage is a union. It's a benefit. I mean, marriage, sex,
Sex.
right? It's a blessing. Sex is a blessing and a benefit for the married couple, right? Because God unites you, and that connection you got to first build in communication and with each other, right? So
Mm.
if you're not married, you shouldn't be having sex. Like, abstain from that. And we did that too. Before we got married, we wasn't having sex.
Yep.
Obviously, we had moments of heat where we're like
We just want to
horny
horny little
rabbits,
horny rabbits,
you know.
but we've never like it even got to the point that my husband asked that when we were dating before we got married,
Hmm.
he asked that we don't make out.
No, we had no tongue. I said we
Make
could
it out. That's making
we could
out.
tap kiss.
Yeah, but that's making out, baby. Tongue is making out.
But somebody wanted to jump me. Well,
I
like,
mean, do you see this
no,
fine
no, it
man?
was basically, I was mad horny. Like, I if
Just
you
the
if
sense of us making out
yeah, just
was.
even with that aspect, I put that boundary. Like, yo, hey, not until we marry, because when I feel your lips, I want to just take off my clothes and jump, jump your bone. So I was like, I need to put that barrier myself. You know, but yeah,
That was.
to my
And
unmarried couple, hold on, go get married, and surrender those urges to the Lord, and you
it's
know,
important to surrender that to the Lord, because we could have easily fell into
yeah,
sin, and we had many moments alone that we could have
yeah, yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah,
But I think for us was always like it's always been going back to who God is in our life,
yeah.
and our purpose, His purpose in our life, and
Hmm.
what He has called us for. And so we knew that that wasn't something that was going to honor Him. And
Right.
when my husband told me that he no longer wanted to make out with me because it does this to him, it honestly, guys, At first, I was taken back because, for you guys that don't know, my husband's the first Christian man I ever dated.
Mm.
First Christian man I ever dated. I dated men in the world, but first Christian man. So the level of respect that he showed me, and like that alone made me even want to jump on him more because I'm like, you're treating me like I'm royalty, like I'm a queen, like I'm everything. Like it was like if he had this pearl or this diamond and it cannot get scratched,
Mm-hmm.
it cannot get damaged, it cannot get fingerprints on it. Like he treated that like that. And that was so honorable to see.
Mm.
So honorable.
Yeah. So for my unmarried couple again, even when you have slip ups, present it to the Lord. You make mistakes, but get back up and give it to God and protect your heart. Protect your heart, because that marriage and union God wants to give you that. So
Amen.
so yeah.
Number 5, mistake number 5, unrealistic expectations.
Ooh.
It is common for couples to have expectations for their partner and their marriage. However, having unrealistic expectations can put a lot of pressure on the relationship and lead to disappointment. It is essential to communicate your expectations with your partner and make sure they're realistic. Guys, this is so true.
Mm.
Like I've seen couples like, and we've seen many couples and friendship of couples that are like, oh, they put this pressure on their spouse that they want to have this house and they
Oh.
want to have, this expensive car, and you want to, and I get it. You want to get out of the situation you're in, which
Mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. But everything at its time,
Yeah.
and be wise. You know what I mean? Not only because Juan Pablo and Paola have a house and a car and now live in the suburbs, you also want to do that.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
it's like Juan Pablo and Pablo's situation is completely different than your
Yeah.
situation.
Don't compare.
Their income is 6 figures. Your income is only one income. One of you guys are only working.
Right. Right.
And so putting that pressure on your partner too, like, be realistic. You can't do that. You, you
Mm-hmm.
you have to do baby steps to get there. Why don't
Yeah.
you get a job and you guys both have an income? Now
Right.
your
Right.
income level has exceeded, and now you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a partnership. And so be realistic with what you guys are working for, what you guys
Mm-hmm.
want out of that marriage, because unrealistic expectations are going to bring you to a disappointment.
Yeah.
And that disappointment is going to boil
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to explode, and it's not going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be good.
And for the men, I would say, towards women, you think that your partner's going to change, right? Like you have this expectation that your partner's going to change, or they're going to be, even with you, like even in our marriage, I would have felt sometimes like, okay, maybe along the way, maybe in the next 6 months, she's going to change. She's
Like, give an example, babe.
no, it's just like for me, I was expecting like your attitude to change,
I have a
right?
very difficult attitude,
Right?
guys.
And then in my head, I was like, nah, maybe he's just like this. She's gonna be like this for a little bit, but she's gonna get better. She's gonna change. It's like, no, your expectation should be, however your partner is right now, this is how they're gonna be for the rest of their life. Obviously, like you want them to grow and learn, but this is how they're gonna be for the rest of their life. And your expectation is to love them how they are now,
And
right?
that's difficult.
This is your expectation. I don't know what your that you're gonna change your partner, or that they're gonna change, or no, you need to love them as they are in the moment, exactly with their flaws and their quirks and their pet peeves, and accept it. Love them. That's your partner. That's the father or mother of your children. And love them unconditionally. The same way God has loved you unconditionally, and God doesn't have these crazy expectations and that you're going to change. God loves you just the way you are, right? Obviously he wants you to change and grow and be better, but it's not something like, you're not setting your unrealistic expectations. And because when you set your expectations like that, you're going to disappoint yourself. Love your partner as they are. And yeah.
Absolutely, guys. This is live. I'm sorry. I put a gum in my mouth, and then I'm like, why am I putting a gum in my mouth while we're recording? Guys, sorry. But definitely those expectations, and I know my husband mentioned this in our other podcast, the same example, but it was something that he had to come to a realization of, right?
Yeah.
It was something that he had to be like, all right, She's not going to change. This is who she is. And of course, there's growth and I eventually change, but
Mm-hmm.
having that expectation changes things for you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Is there
Number 6.
and number six, the last one, number six mistake that that we've learned also is not prioritizing your relationship. Marriage takes work and effort to maintain. Couples who don't prioritize their relationship may find themselves drifting apart over time. It's essential to take time for each other, plan date nights, continue to invest in the relationship to keep the love and connection alive. You know?
Investing in your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
We always said that. I think since we've been married, we've always knew that we had to invest in our marriage. It's not like you get married and you that's it. No.
Mm-hmm.
This is an ongoing investment. You have to ongoing, an investment can look like a lot of things. For my ladies, you know, don't be looking crazy out here. You know what I mean? Like I'm so big on that. Like I feel like make sure your husband is proud of the woman he's
Mm.
standing next to. And that goes for the men too.
Right.
Don't be looking out here sloppy
Right. Right.
because we have issues. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that I'll wear, my husband be like, nah, or there's some things my husband wears and I'm like, nah, like, and we don't get offended by it. It's like, yo, we a team. You know what I mean? But also, yo, él le gusta el café. Get him a little Dunkin' Donuts gift card one time. Get
Hey.
him a little Starbucks, like, whatever it is that he likes. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for the men too, like, yo, ella le gusta dar masaje. Mándala a buscar su masajito una vez en cuando. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Get her to get a massage. She likes massages. Send her to get a massage. And my husband was great at that. Like, he's a great listener when I say certain things. He makes it happen. Like it can be
Mm-hmm.
a year from now, and he'll be like, "I remember the day you said this." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So paying attention to what the likes and needs of your partner is, but invest in it. You know what I mean? Quality time. Spend
Mm.
time together.
Yeah.
That can be an investment. You know what I mean? Any little thing. It doesn't have to be going out and spending money. No, do things at home. Get a candlelight dinner. Get your own candles from the Dollar Tree. Get it together. Cook some food for him. Give him a nice meal. Have somebody take care of the kids, and you guys have an intimate moment then. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But investing in that time together,
Yeah.
quality time is important. Getting to know your partner again,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you disconnect, you forget.
Yeah.
You forget the reason you said yes.
And this is ongoing. This is not something that you just do it once. This is continually, and you're gonna hear it often in our podcast. But yeah, prioritize your marriage, prioritize your relationship, and set date nights. You know, make time for them at least 20 minutes a day. Listen to your partner and stay active. Make it a priority in your marriage because if you have kids, your kids are gonna grow.
And
And
then,
they're gonna move on. They're gonna leave the nest, and then it's gonna be you two. And God has united you guys with purpose.
absolutely.
So make
And
make that key.
and for my
Prioritize your marriage.
and for the couples the married couples that are serving in your church, guess what? Your first ministry is your marriage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if this is not okay, then how are you serving?
Right.
How are you giving when your own marriage is collapsing?
Mm-hmm.
Be realistic, guys. Be real. If you can't serve at the time, it's okay. God sees that and
Yeah.
God sees your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are like, listen, my marriage is not okay, prioritize your
Mm-hmm.
marriage.
Take a break.
Invest in
Mm-hmm.
your marriage. And it's okay to step away. That doesn't make you a less Christian. That doesn't make you less connected to Christ. No, like your relationship with God is your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter how many groups you're leading. It doesn't matter how many areas you're serving in church. That does not matter when your relationship with God is your relationship. Yes, that is the heart that you want to have. That is what God
Mm-hmm.
wants. God wants service. That wants you to do those things. But if your marriage is not okay, then you can't be doing that. Be
Mm-hmm.
realistic with that.
Yeah. So yeah. So guys, yeah, that was our list of the top
Six mistakes that
six
we've
mistake we've
experienced
experienced, and in
in
general, other
general.
couples have experienced it too.
Yes.
To remember, marriage is a journey. Stay strong, stay connected. Don't give up on each other. Put God first, and let him be the foundation of your lives. And continue moving forward. Don't give up. And no, guys, stay strong. We love you guys. You
We
guys.
love you. We declare
Mhm.
any clarity, we declare healing in your marriage for any of
Mhm.
those couples that are going through, or any couples um, that are feeling like they want to give up. Stay connected,
Yeah.
confide in God. God is going to be your confidant, and He's going to be the one there to guide you. Give it all to Him,
Yeah.
but also be transparent and truthful, and seek help.
Yeah.
Seek help when you need it. It doesn't make you a less Christian. I promise you, it does
Mhm.
not. We love you.
Mhm.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, um, TikTok, and of course on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like,
Subscribe.
share,
Yeah. Check
guys.
out the other videos we have in store and the other clips. And yeah, show us love. Subscribe. We love you guys. Peace.
Peace out, guys.